I am Jai Gobind and I am your channel for grace. Welcome to the free mini retreat, Activate the Frequency of Freedom. So before we get into the topic of boundaries for day one of our retreat, I want to say happy solar eclipse in Aquarius. Today is the day that we're experiencing this energy, and it is the entire reason why we are doing this mini retreat. So let me tell you what a mini retreat is, especially if you've never done one of my mini retreats. Basically, a mini retreat is an opportunity for you to take a step back, to look at yourself. It's like putting up the mirror and taking a break, taking a moment to ask yourself, where are you at in your life? Where are you at in your relationships? Where are you at internally and externally? And in doing so, you give yourself a chance to continue to move forward if you feel like you're going in the right direction, or to change something about what you're doing if you feel like something needs to change. Maybe you're not quite aligned with the track that you want. And so in order to do that, you have to reflect and you have to take a moment to do this. So we're going to get to, during this mini retreat, take a moment to look at ourselves, look at our life, look at how we live, look at how we think, look at how we feel, how we interact with other people. We're going to get an opportunity to take care of ourselves, and we're going to get an opportunity to learn a type of meditation. It's a Kundalini Yoga meditation that is all about courage and guiding you to be able to do the work that it takes to truly awaken, to truly activate this frequency of freedom. And we'll finish the mini retreat on Periscope on Sunday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, or 10 a.m. Pacific Time. And we'll talk, we'll kind of recap and have a discussion about how it was, how you did, and how you experienced this mini retreat, and also what were some of the things that we learned from it. And we'll talk about how the whole energy of the solar eclipse in Aquarius is going to affect our relationship with ourselves and our relationships with other people. So let me get into this topic of boundaries, which is our day one of the mini retreat. So the first thing that I want to say about boundaries is that in order to establish healthy boundaries, you have to discover quite a bit about yourself, and also what your basic belief system is in your life, in your mind, and also what are the basic belief systems that other people have. It's really not a small task. It's actually a huge topic, and if you want to dive deeper, if this mini retreat inspires you to want to know more about yourself and discover more about yourself, you can always sign up for a channeled reading from me, and it's like a channeled reading and a coaching session all at the same time, and we can go through it in much more detail regarding your own personal situation right now. But if you're feeling called, if that curiosity activates within you, then definitely make sure to send me an email. You can reply to any of these emails that are being sent out and let me know, or even go to my website, eaglestaryoga.com, to sign up for one of those. It's a 2-hour session, or it's actually a 2-week program as well that I offer. So know that that's available to you if you're wanting to dive a little bit deeper. So this topic of boundaries is, like I said, it's no small task. But however, for the purposes of this mini retreat, I'm going to introduce you to these following points and topics, so that you're able to understand a little bit more clearly what is necessary to learn to set healthy boundaries. So setting a healthy boundary, like I said, has a lot to do with your understanding of what's going on within yourself and within other people. But we have to also talk about what is a boundary, and who are we supposed to make a boundary with? If we don't understand it, how are we going to kind of understand the concept, right? Well, there's a couple of questions that I want you to ask yourself, and this is where we start to go a little bit deeper. I'm gonna have you have a mirror. It's almost like visualize a mirror in front of you, and you're going to dive deep, and you're going to discover things that you may not like about yourself, And that's okay, because it takes courage to move into that space, and we all have to do it in order to move on to the next phase. And so the first question I want you to ask yourself is, it's either your experience is either one or the other, or maybe both of these. So the first question is, how easily are you affected by other people's actions or opinions about you or about other people? And then the second question is, do you often feel the need to interject or influence people's thoughts or lives? Like, are you that kind of person? Are you both? Do you experience both? Are you at the same time always swayed by what other people think, and you feel like you know best, and so you have to tell people what to do? Or is it like one is stronger than the other in your life? This is an important key to understanding whether you are setting boundaries or not, or whether you're setting healthy boundaries or not. So in order to understand what it actually means to set boundaries and to basically respect the boundaries of other people as well, you have to, like I said, put that mirror up to yourself. So you have to ask yourself, like, if you were asking yourself, it's like, what do I do in situations? How do I act in situations? How do I think in situations? What am I projecting onto others? What am I saying or thinking about others without actually knowing the truth of what's going on? And the reason that you would do this, sort of have this reflection with yourself, is so that you can figure out a reasonable balance of what you're giving out too much of. So where are you leaking your energy or giving away your power? And then also, where are you taking from other people too much, and why? Why is that happening? Is it an insecurity? Is it something that's going on within you? And like I said, this is not an easy topic to get into, but just try your best to be in that clear space, in that neutral mind, to try to observe what's really going on, because there's the goal is to elevate your consciousness and to open up that channel between you and your higher self and spirit. And in order to do that, you have to sometimes go like into the rabbit hole, as I like to say it, or you have to go into this space of darkness in order to shine the light. You have to shine the light into the darkness, and that's why it feels like it's kind of intense. So there's I've been talking about it on Periscope, but we have Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, and he kind of lays it out pretty neatly. With the Four Agreements, the first one is be impeccable with your word. So, like, mean what you say. Basically, is what it means. Tell the truth, like you're honest to God truth. If instead of hiding from something, or instead of pretending you're not something that you want to be, or pretending that you know what's going on, but you really don't know. It's like, it's okay. Like, just tell the truth. Just be honest with yourself, because the moment you start to be honest with yourself is the moment you open up that vulnerability, and your heart starts to be able to speak through you. And that's key to change. The second agreement is, don't take anything personally, because you never know what the other person is thinking. You never know what they're feeling. You never know if it has to do with something that they grew up with, a belief system that they kind of just grabbed on while they, as they were growing up. You don't know what's behind the actions of other people. So if you don't take anything personal, which you shouldn't, because really it has nothing to do with you and all to do with them, life gets easier. The third agreement is don't make any assumptions. So don't assume that people know what you're saying, that people understand what you're saying, and don't assume that you are fully understanding what other people are saying. If you don't understand completely something, you can research it. You can find more information about it. You can ask people for clarification. It's in this process of communication that we learn to basically have better relationships with each other. So that's the reason why you would want to have this reflection about yourself, because you want to have that better relationship, because you want to be a better human being, because you want to step into your power, because you want to awaken to your full potential. It's a beautiful process, and yes, it looks really amazing. Like the light at the end of the tunnel looks amazing, but sometimes you're still in the tunnel, and you got to get through the tunnel, to get to that light, and that's where it gets a little scary. So you have to ask yourself the question, are you, or are we in general, taking the responsibility to truly know ourselves? Or are you avoiding it out of fear of what you might discover about yourself, which is the scary part? But the truth is that the only way to truly know yourself is to fully understand your own belief system, your unique way of viewing the world, and also to ask yourself the questions. Is this your belief system, the one that you're acting upon? Or is it just a bunch of ideas that you were basically fed as you were growing up by the adults in your life, by society, by the media, whatever? If it's yours or if it's not yours, basically. And if it was something that you were just fed, if you can recognize the difference between who you truly are and the things that you've been just told that you are, if you can tell the difference between the two, or if you do feel like it's something that you were just fed, how do you truly come to know yourself, right? That's a huge question. That's like a big topic that we need to start getting into. So what I'm doing right now is just going little by little deeper into this topic of how do you set clear boundaries and how do you learn to understand yourself. There's something that I discovered a few years ago, and it was the Enneagram. And the Enneagram speaks to 9 different personality types, 9 different belief systems in the world. It's basically 9 ways of seeing the world. And I play this game with Dawn, and who's my fiance. I play this game, and we try to figure out what personality each people are. And it actually, so far, every single person that I've met fits into one of these personalities, which affirms to me the truth behind this nine belief systems theory. So it's ancient. It's like an ancient practice, just like tantric numerology, just like the Vedas, just like Vedic astrology, just like astrology in general. It's like these ancient teachings that have kind of lived on and have been here, for a long time, and we're learning to rediscover ourselves through these ancient systems. So my story is, when I figured out I used to live in a lot of confusion, and I used to feel like I was different than everyone, and I didn't understand why I felt so different. I didn't understand why I felt so like attacked in my life. And when I figured out, I'm a number 4 on the Enneagram, if you're curious. If you figured out once I figured out what personality type I was able to, also I studied all of them, not just mine, because in studying all of the other personalities, I was able to learn about, like, my sister, who's a 1. I was able to learn about my dad, who's a number 2 personality. And I was able to learn about my mom, who's a number 3, and about me, I'm a 4, and about my brother, who's a number 9. And I have an uncle that's a number 5. I have another uncle that's a number 8 personality. I have friends that are number 7 personalities. I have not met too many people that are like the 5 personality, but curious to learn more about it. And I have aunts and cousins that are 6 personalities, and so I know one of each person from the entire Enneagram system. And when I started to read about it, I discovered so much about them and about me and the reason why I was feeling the way I was feeling. So the contrast that I was able to see in studying all of these different personalities made it so that I understood from that higher perspective, from that neutral mind. It was like mind blowing. My mind just burst open, and I understood the why of a lot of things that happened throughout my entire life. And I understood why I felt the way I felt about my mom, why I felt the way I felt about my sister and my brother and my dad and my uncle, and like why I felt the way I felt my entire life. It cleared up so much, and it made it so much easier for me to be able to have compassion for the people in my life, and have compassion for myself, and forgive myself and forgive others. Because really, Most people are just unaware of what they do and how they affect other people. But we're moving into an age where we're becoming more aware. And so it has a lot to do with the awareness, how you feel about yourself and how you feel about others and your life, and how you're able to communicate from this higher space, from this higher frequency space. So that's something that I highly recommend that you look into. There's an Audible book. If you go to audible.com, you can purchase it. And then listen to it. It's the Enneagram. It's got a blue cover with the gold 9-pointed star on it. And I've been talking about this on Periscope a lot. So if you're not on Periscope yet, then make sure you go on there and you check it out. Because I go live on there and we talk about so many different topics, so many amazing things that are going to help us move a little bit further into this path and activate our frequency of freedom. So learning about yourself and understanding yourself doesn't mean that you have to, and understanding other people, doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice your belief system because you understand how others feel and you have to just go with what they say. That's not what it means. It just means that you're able to honor others, and you expect others to honor you, and you know the difference between the two. It's a powerful thing. You have to keep your mind open. That's like the key to this. You have to be open to that innocence of curiosity that drives your desire to know more about yourself. It's like the wanting to learn about other people for the sake of understanding, of learning and forgiving, because this is you vibrating at a higher frequency and a higher awareness, and a consciousness. And this is you practicing the art of love, unconditional love, Christ consciousness love, which is exactly what the age of light is all about. And in order for us to coexist with each other, we have to understand, honor, and respect each other's way of seeing the world, because in so doing, we regain our own sense of self, because we're able to see the contrast. And it opens up a whole new way of seeing the world, and you'll be amazed at how much pressure it relieves from you to have to be a certain way around people, have to be a certain way around yourself, have to present yourself a certain way. It just takes all the pressure off. And it is this beautiful, it's like sigh of relief, where you don't have to do anything you don't want to anymore, because you understand why it was all happening in the first place. This is what it's going to take to activate the frequency of freedom. Freedom in the sense of you're not always in the reacting mode, because you understand the bigger picture of what's going on. And because reacting, which is like going into the instant reaction of something, only gives away your energy, only gives away your power, and it actually violates your own boundary of yourself. You're violating your own boundary when you give away your power. And that's something to think about. So this is what vibrating at a higher frequency means. It's unconditional love. It's unconditional love and being okay with others' joy as well as their suffering, because you're honoring their path, you're honoring where other people are at, and you're also discovering who you are in the process. And you will notice as you move from phase to phase in this healing journey that you recognize more about yourself through going through the hard times. And sometimes you recognize that one thing that you went through that was really hard was really a huge lesson for you, and you learned a lot. So why would you want to take that away from someone else when they're choosing to go through a certain experience? And maybe it's part of their life destiny. It's like their soul chose to have a certain experience so that it would learn, so that it would be able to fully live out its destiny, right? So why would you, there's no way you would, if you truly understood, there's no way you would want or try to change what people are choosing for themselves. It's huge difference in the way that we normally think about life. So I know it's a huge topic and I would love to speak more about it. But I want to give you a little assignment now, so that between now and tomorrow you can start to look at this very sort of intense topic that we're embarking on right now. And if you want to talk more, like I said, I do individual sessions that you can definitely sign up for with me. So you have to figure out where you're at. This is figuring out where you're at. Are you ready to step through this portal? Because the eclipse is a portal. It's a door that's opening up, and you can choose to step through it, or you can choose to not step through it. And either way, it's fine. But you got to know whether you're ready or not to step through it. And the only way is to put the mirror to yourself and look at yourself and your life and see what's going on. Where am I at, right? And also ask yourself, are you ready to do the work that it's going to take to discover who you truly are? And so there's a few questions that I'd like you to journal about, and they're on the email. I've written them out. The ones I just did are a part of that, but here's a few other ones that might help you sort of get into that framework of understanding what I'm talking about and applying it to your life. So the first question is, do I really know why I make the decisions I make? Are you aware? Do I really know why I treat people the way I do? Do I really know why I treat myself the way I do? And you know what I'm talking about. It's these internal thought patterns, either the judgment, whatever is going on, however you view the world. You might realize that you're actually on the right path, that you're doing a really good job, that you're not judging, that you're not taking things personally, that you're not making assumptions, that you are being completely like immaculate with your word. Or you might discover that not so much, and that's okay. Either fine, it's just, where are you at? That's the whole purpose. Like, where are you at? Are you ready to move forward? Are you wanting to move forward? Once you know, whatever you decide is perfect, because it's perfect for you in this moment, and it's what you're choosing. And so the moment you start to own your choices, that's where you start to grow even more, like exponentially grow. So the other question is, do I really know why I feel the way I feel? In general, in any situation, in your life, when you're alone, when you're with others, in general. Number 3 is, do I know what reasonable boundaries are? And do I know how to find that information? And I've given you a couple of tips. So there's a couple of books that I've talked about in this video. One is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and the other one is The Enneagram. Richard Rizzo, I believe, is the author of that book. And you can get them both and audible.com. It's like the most convenient way to read books, especially nowadays if you're on the go all the time and you don't mind having the headphones on and taking in some amazing wisdom while you're just going about your life. So that's how the experience has been for me. So I want to thank you for watching this video. I want to thank you for allowing yourself to be curious about your life, to want to know a little bit more, because in that space is the space of growth and expansion and manifestation. And it's so amazing and it's so beautiful. And I'm really excited for you. I'm excited for you to do this. And so just trust your own intuition, trust your guidance, and start to take responsibility for the decisions that you make. Ask yourself, where are you at? And then make a choice. And then follow through with that choice and feel good about that choice, no matter what it is. Whether you're ready, where you feel completely ready to embark on this like crazy journey of change and manifestation, or whether you feel like, no, you're not ready yet and you want a little bit more time. Either is fine. You just got to trust your own intuition, and I know that you will, and I know that you're going to do the best that you can. And that's the 4th agreement, is to do the best that you can with the information that you have, and trust that spirit, that the universe, that the infinite reality, the infinite light is always guiding you, watching you, supporting you every single moment of your life. And if you just acknowledge that understanding, you are just right on, you're on that path, you're on that journey of your soul awakening and your light shining as bright as it possibly can. So thank you again for watching this day 1 video of our free mini retreat, activating the frequency of freedom. And tomorrow you will receive the next email. It goes out at midnight Mountain Time. So you'll receive the next email, which is all about how do we take care of ourselves during these crazy times. So we'll get into more of that tomorrow. It'll be a written content, not a video. So just be on the lookout for that. You'll have to read a little bit, but it's going to be the tools that you need to help you do that. So again, thank you. And we'll see you tomorrow. Sat Nam. 2018 is the year you will remember who you truly are and step into your light. I've created 2 amazing online resources where you can find guidance, support, and practical tools. The membership doors are now open. Join me in the Jai Gobind Academy and the Eagle Star Sisterhood as we step into the light together.